breaking news.
A peaceful start to an Omaha protest turns dangerous quickly. Police attempt to clear people blocking traffic here at 72nd and Dodge.
At one point, radio calls were put out for more police backup. And right now, we're going to go ahead and take a live look over 72nd and Dodge Street. Let's see if we can get that up. We do know that there has been a heavy police presence in that area all night. Here's that live look for you, and you can see that that heavy police presence is still active right now.
Protests here in Omaha and across the country erupted after video surfaced of George Floyd's death at the hand of an officer in Minneapolis.
We do have a team of reporters out on the scene tonight. First, we begin with Emily Dwyer. She's live for us right now. Emily?
Yeah, guys, I'm near the intersection of 72nd and Dodge. Now, we were here when this all started. It started relatively peaceful. People were just lining the streets with their signs. Cars drove by honking, but it's escalated throughout the night. Right now, we have seen police deploying the tear gas onto the crowds. We've seen scuffles. A man just got arrested here right in front of us. You see police putting him in handcuffs and walking him to the car. People still, hundreds of people lined up here around the intersection of 72nd and Dodge. Police doing their best to keep them on the sidewalks and out of the streets. Right now, though, I want to show you what it looked like earlier today, and I talked to a couple people about why they came out to the protest.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
This was the scene in Omaha days after George Floyd died in the custody of Minneapolis police. At 72nd and Dodge, hundreds gathered on every corner, holding signs and chanting, demanding justice in Floyd's death.
I think a lot of folks in this country are sick and tired of black people being shot and murdered by police every single day.
Demanding change.
It's time, it's overdue, and people are ready for it, as you can see.
Freddie Williams held a sign at the protest that said, "I can't breathe." He says he could very well be the next George Floyd.
Knowing, the injustice that even when I leave my house and came out here, I didn't know if I was going to get back home or not to see my family again.
Other protesters were there in support of their community.
We all need to work on ourselves, and the police need to work on themselves and train themselves. We can make this a better world.
About an hour and a half into the protest, people started spilling into the street, forcing Omaha police to shut down traffic in all directions. The group of protesters then marched up and down Dodge before some sat in the middle of the intersection. Now, again, we are kind of right in the thick of this protest, which was supposed to end at 9 o'clock tonight. So this has gone an hour over, and there are still tons of people. Where I am right now, I'm right by the Fuddruckers. There's a Chipotle right here, catty corner from Crossroads Mall. That's where the Target is. The Target closed early today, but you can see the people crowded there right under the Crossroads Mall sign. There are people up and down Dodge, and you can see the police officers. Again, their goal right now is to keep people on the sidewalks. We've heard them tell multiple people, get out of the streets, go on to the sidewalks. Now down west even further, you can see the police officers blocking off the street. Traffic has not been able to go up and down this street for the past couple of hours now as protesters filled those streets, as we showed you in that video. And again, right now, we have seen police a couple of times deploy that tear gas onto the crowds. People running, scattering here across the streets. And again, a couple of people we've seen be put into handcuffs and led off by police. So this is what we're seeing right now. We're going to stay here on the scene and keep an eye on things as police will wait and see as they try and disperse this crowd, which again has been here about an hour longer than they had originally planned. So again, we'll stay here, keep an eye on things again, see how it all plays out. For now, though, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Emily Dwyer reporting live right from 72nd and Dodge area, and police have set up a staging area nearby.
Our Rex Smith is there. Let's go to him live. Rex?
Well, John, Lauren, good evening to you both. We are just blocks away from where the protests have been taking place this evening. We're outside of an old Chicago near 78th and Cass, and we did just get an update from Omaha police. They said for the most part tonight, things have been very peaceful, and they were thankful for that, and they were thankful for the organizers who put the protest together tonight, that they made it such an effort to keep things peaceful in tonight's protest. We do want to let you listen in now on a little bit of a soundbite with Police Captain Ken Kanger.
We've had a couple of incidents that have come up, but for the most part, it's been peaceful, and we're continuing to monitor that. The chief of police Dodge Smotter is overseeing a lot of this investigation at our command post with several other command officers.
For folks at home, can you give us an idea of what has happened here tonight from what happened in the east part of Dodge heading west? Do you guys know at this time?
We received information today there was going to be a peaceful protest at 72nd and Dodge. We worked all afternoon with the organizers, and the emphasis was on it being peaceful, and we went over the lawful orders and things that they had to comply with. And the protest, the individuals that put this together have worked tirelessly to try to maintain it and make sure that it was peaceful. At some point, individuals did come into the street, which we obviously would rather not happen. But for the most part, there has been no violence. There's been no arrests. Nobody's been hurt during this incident. We're grateful for that. And we would expect nothing less from the citizens of Omaha. We had one incident where a Nebraska State Patrol car was surrounded and a helping officer went out. Some munitions and some gas was deployed. And once that happened, for the most part, we got compliance. Now, with that said, we're asking the community not to come down to this area and stay a long ways away. It's very difficult for the officers to manage this incident and make sure it's safe, and also the traffic in the surrounding area. And when I say don't come to the area, I mean don't go west of 60th, east of 84th, and stay on Pacific and Blondo for the most part so that we can do the job and make sure everybody is safe. Now, this has been going on for a couple hours now. And at this point in time, we're working with law enforcement and our command staff, and we're telling the folks that it's going to be time to disperse. We're asking for no additional people to come down here. It's important for people to exercise their freedom of speech, and we understand that. The biggest thing is we don't want anybody hurt, property damaged, and again, I wouldn't expect that from the citizens of Omaha. For the most part, peaceful. Obviously, we would rather not have them in the street. We obviously would not want them to surround a cruiser, but when those things happen, we do have to escalate, and we're using the least amount of force that we possibly can. And since then, it has maintained and been very peaceful. And again, what we're working on towards now is moving individuals back onto the sidewalk, trying to open up the streets and explaining to them, we've given you several hours, we want your compliance, and again, we expect that.
Can you help people understand what the job of the department is when you have to administer those measures when it comes to tear gas for the folks at home who may not understand why officers need to do that?
Absolutely, it's a great question. Obviously, public safety is the utmost concern. Freedom of speech, we get that. They have that opportunity, but we have to make sure everybody involved is safe, including the officers. And when a cruiser or a law enforcement officer, a car is surrounded, obviously things are going towards the direction of it being unsafe or property being damaged, and we can't have those things happen. So again, we're trying to use the least amount of force possible, and we've been able to do that, to have this many people in this length of time without any arrests, and that's what we hope at the end of the evening. But at some point, we're telling folks not to come down here anymore. You've had the opportunity to express your freedom of speech, and we're going to start taking some measures to get people on the sidewalks and then ask them to leave.
Again, that update there from Captain Ken Kanger with the Omaha Police Department. He said that multiple agencies were working in unison here tonight, and it has been quite the scene from the protest to the traffic. Daybreak anchor Dave Zawolinsky actually drove down here tonight. He joins us now. Dave, can you kind of describe what you were seeing as you were just making your way down here tonight?
Yeah, Rex, I drove in from Elkhorn about 35 minutes ago, coming down from Dodge, about 144th and Dodge. I saw the helicopters circling. Now that I'm down here, it's at least two that are above our heads. We hear them buzzing just within the last few minutes, circling around the 76th and Dodge area. We heard from Captain Ken Kanger. So far, no property damage, no injuries. Everybody's hoping it stays that way, but it certainly feels like OPD is ready to deal with anything should it happen. We hear multiple sirens even right now. We just a few minutes ago saw EMS, an ambulance, and a fire squad race down Dodge that way. I saw multiple cops at 84th and Dodge. They are ready if need be here tonight. So far, nothing serious to report. We're hoping it stays that way, but everybody's staying on top of it in case it is.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you. And again, a very big scene down here. People still downtown right now near 72nd and Dodge. We will continue to keep you updated. We'll stay right here, and we'll try to follow any other developments this evening. Until then, John and Lauren, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Rex Smith reporting near 78th and Cass, the media staging area. And the
target there.
Here, get the shot. Yeah, that's right, guys. Just a few minutes ago, we saw police officers making their way to the entrance of the Target here at Crossroads Mall. You can see them. They are lined up in front of the door. There were reports that people were trying to get inside of the Target. We've seen the looting that happened in Indianapolis at a Target there. But it looks like police are blocking off the entrance. There are a lot of people in the parking lot, though, facing police, still yelling at them. They're not doing anything. They're staying far back. But police are making sure that nobody is able to get into that building. More people still down at the intersection of 72nd and Dodge. But we've shifted our focus now here to the Target. They have lots of police cars up here as well, and more than a dozen, it looks like 24 or so police officers standing in front of the Target to make sure nobody can get inside. That's the latest development that we're seeing right now. And again, the parking lot here at the Crossroads Mall Target is filled with people, cars, people standing around, bikes, all kinds of action still happening right now as police, again, as we've been telling you, are trying to get people to leave and to go home. Again, people still throwing things at police here in front of the Target as well. We just saw a water bottle go flying at officers. Just keeping a close eye on what's happening here. We're going to stay here at the scene and keep you updated as much as possible. But for now, we'll go ahead and send it back to you guys.
Well, as we watch that, we'll reiterate what police said. They're trying to use the least amount of force possible as they work with the crowd. They did work with organizers that began this protest at about 6 o'clock.
And I do believe that they were firing off tear gas. You could hear our very own Emily Dwyer. She's been coughing as she's been trying to bring us these reports. I think that she kind of got gassed in the face there. We do want to go ahead and head on out to Rex Smith. He's been at the media staging area near 78th and Cass. Rex, what can you tell us?
Well, Lauren, we want to let you know that we have now moved locations. We were at 78th and Cass. We have moved down to 78th and Dodge. If you take a look over my shoulder, you can see the cop cars lined up there down closer to 72nd, a few blocks away from where we were, as police try to get traffic moving again. And down at this intersection where we are, traffic is moving heavy as cars are moving through. There's a lot of people still down here tonight. We actually have people just a few cars away from us yelling at us right now. But I do want to bring in Daybreak anchor Dave Zavolinsky. He's here with me tonight. And Dave, you got some extra tips from police about what they were seeing tonight and what kind of things they're dealing with.
We did. You know, protests here in the city of Omaha over something that's happened somewhere else in the country is not unknown to the Omaha Police Department. However, what we were told tonight from a source inside of the city is that it happening at night, it happening during a pandemic where everybody's been at home. We've got the perfect weather tonight. There's a lot of pent-up aggression. So they think that's the reason why people are out tonight. And the Omaha police are on edge to a certain degree because of all that. We're seeing larger crowds. It's a little bit unprecedented here in the city of Omaha. We're hearing people drive by yelling at us. Tear gas burns our eyes. Reports are that some of that has been sprayed. We have not confirmed that, Rex or myself. But people are dispersing. We're seeing people leave the scene behind us, driving west down Dodge. But if you're trying to come east down Dodge at 78th Street, you're being diverted north or south right now. So police doing everything they can. We see there's a large group of police over here that are just on standby from what it appears, ready to act at a moment's notice. The helicopter's circling above. And again, every few minutes we're hearing sirens and the cars, squad cars, buzzing into the scene behind us right now. So a very active situation. Again, Deputy Chief Ken Kanger saying so far no property damage, no injuries. We're hoping it stays that way. I think everybody's hoping it stays that way. Everybody's for a peaceful protest tonight, but we want to keep it that way.
Absolutely, Dave. And police, like you said, doing everything they can. They're diverting traffic everywhere they can. And they are asking everyone to stay home. They don't want any extra people to come down this way tonight. They're trying to get this area dispersed as easily as possible. So for now, we're going to send it back inside to the studio, but we'll keep trying to get more updates for you.
All right. Thank you, Rex Smith, reporting there. And it's been about an hour since we heard from Captain Kanger. He mentioned at that time no violence and no injuries, but there are developments happening right now.
Yeah, we are hearing that the front windows at the Target have been smashed in. That's at 72nd and Dodge. Guys, can we go back to Emily Dwyer now? Can we go back to her?
Let's get a shot of the scene at Target again.
All right, this is Emily's live shot out here. This is 72nd and Dodge. This is the Target out here. Now, we are hearing, Emily, that some of the windows have been smashed out. Is that correct?
It certainly looks that way. Lauren, the top right window appears to be broken. It looks like there's a lot of glass missing, and maybe one right behind the police on the left side of this line. It looks like there might be some glass shattered behind them as well. So again, we heard reports that people were actually trying to get inside of the store. As you can see, they've lined up to make sure that doesn't happen. But again, it does look like the building may have been vandalized. I'm trying to get a closer look, but I don't want to get too close here, as there's still a big police presence, a big scene here at the Target. And again, still at the intersection of 72nd and Dodge. as well. People still throwing things at these officers as well. So the latest that we have for you here at the scene at the Crossroads Mall Target. We'll keep an eye on it.
Emily, this is John Nicely. You mentioned earlier the protest was supposed to end about 9 o'clock, and police, their effort is to get people finally to disperse and leave. That's their effort right now.
That's right. The organizers of the event said that they had planned for this to go from about 6 o'clock tonight until 9:09. They were going to hold 9 minutes of silence for George Floyd. But again, this is an hour, more than an hour, almost 2 hours after this protest was supposed to end. And there are still hundreds of people here where the protest happened today. So police, it's going to be a big work for them to try and get these people to disperse, but that seems to be their aim right now.
And Emily, what do you see on Dodge Street just ahead of you? Are people off of the street now on the sidewalks, or are they still in the street?
You know, I'd have to walk over there, John. The parking lot's at a bit of a hill,
Sure.
so I can't quite see over all the cars and the people because there are so many here. But we can walk that way and just get the scene, and try to get a look here at what is behind all of this. We'll take you through here, walking in front of the police.
We did
the
notice
Target. Again, this parking lot at Crossroads is where a lot of people park.
Mounted police were out on the streets just a moment ago. We saw with our live pictures, so they can move a crowd well with their presence as well.
I'll tell you, I can see that window at the Target more clearly now, and it is definitely broken. So again, I've been reporting. Can you show the window there at the top right? As we've been reporting, we've seen so many things thrown, and in fact, the street here, the intersection at 72nd and Dodge, is kind of littered with all kinds of trash. So can't say for sure what was thrown, but it does appear that that window at the Target is broken. It is missing a big chunk of glass.
And just in case anybody was wondering of the significance of Target, Target is a Minnesota company, and they too earlier today decided to shut down all of their stores across Minnesota in response to the George Floyd protests going on up there as well.
All right, this is Emily Dwyer that we're following now. She's moving over closer to Dodge to see if the crowd is out of the street. Emily, you were coughing earlier while you were reporting. Was that some form of gas that was causing you? Well, it's hard to hear.
That's correct, John. We've unfortunately been a little bit too close to some of the scenes where police have been dispersing that tear gas. You still see people even running right now. But you can feel it in your nose and your throat. It makes you cough. And that's exactly what was happening to both me and Xavier, who's with me right now, my photographer. Not a fun feeling.
Well, this gives us an idea in the parking lot, and there goes something
It
wrong.
Looks like they're trying to disperse the crowd even more.
Yeah, we're getting a better look here at 72nd in Dodge.
Now, Emily, as you're taking a look at people
like
getting
a lot
hit,
of people standing around,
and as you see people, you know, they're obviously hurting from getting hit with that tear gas. Do you think that is kind of helping to disperse the crowd? Or is it just making people more angry?
I don't think it's making them angrier, but it's not making them leave. They're just...
Look at the Channel 3 car.
They're just moving to different areas of the protest. It does appear, though, right now that maybe there are fewer people, not by much, though.
And we'll point out again, Omaha Police, their efforts tonight, they say, is to use the least amount of force possible. They do want people to have their freedom of speech and their rights to do so. But at the same time, they're trying to make sure that the streets are open. They do not want people in the streets at Dodge.
Yeah, Emily, thank you so much for keeping up on these developments.